Hello, community, and welcome to another episode of Schulering Hub podcast, Talking Hospitality. And today I have a special guest because he's not directly involved with hospitality, but we share the same love for learning and development. So welcome to the show, Vladislav Severa.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what is LearnerOn and how it works?
LearnerOn is an example of something what is called learning experience platform. And from the point of view of users and clients, which are typically corporations and companies, it's a learning platform focused on the user. So as opposed to classical learning management systems where the primary focus is deadlines and discipline and etc., here the primary focus is user. And thanks to the advancements of technology, the user is being served by a very, very personalized and individualized way of learning, being advised by the automatic things like recommender systems, and also is being subject to something what is called informal or non-formal way of corporate learning and development, meaning also the social elements of learning, self-service learning, and not so much the top-down assignment of learning within the company. So that's LearnerOn. From the point of view of a data scientist, there is enormous database behind, and everything is driven by data science and by AI in the way that the people behind the scenes, like learning administrators, are not having any heavy duty, to manage the process of learning in companies. So that's heavily data supported. But from the point of view, it should be a pleasure, but from the point of view of the user.
That's fantastic because what I believe that the main challenge is making learning a pleasure. And you said something about that just quickly here. It's about the social part of learning as well. What did you mean by that?
Well, on LearnerOn, we are hosting a couple of features which are more often seen in social media and social networks than in learning platforms. For example, a subscription to someone who is posting interesting learning paths on LearnerOn. So as you can follow a person on Twitter or follow a person on Facebook, you can so-called subscribe a person on LearnerOn, someone who is interesting for you, who is having learning ideas and who is sharing the ideas with the community or with the team. So that's one example. Another example is that if someone posts a learning path on LearnerOn, anyone else can start commenting and improving on the once posted learning path. So that's another social element. And more of these things will be added over time. We are still avoiding the heavy gamification. We think that there are different platforms which are betting on gamification. We are having some soft gamification as well, but more we are betting on the personal experience of the user, of the learner on LearnerOn.
That's fantastic. You're betting the social force of learning and the influence of others. That's very, very interesting. And when I said that you are indirectly involved with the hospitality, it's because of the Health and Longevity Tech Fund. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit of what it is, this ecosystem, and explain why is that also related to hospitality, please?
Yeah, sure. So the learning technology, that's my other big occupation, and that's actually learning, Longevity Tech Fund is a proper venture capital fund investing in companies which are having the goal of prolonging healthy lifespans of people worldwide. And healthy lifespan is something different than the solo lifespan. We are not aiming at technologies which would let us live 150 years, but we love technologies which are allowing us to live 90 years, but in a good health and in a good shape. So that's the definition of the healthy lifespan and healthy longevity. And we are investing both into biotech companies who are having very interesting inventions and discoveries which are in the medicine space, allowing prevention of some serious diseases or prevention of some civilization diseases. But then, and that touches the edges of the hospitality, we are also investing into companies which are delivering the inventions to people, to the consumers. And among the delivering ecosystem companies or infrastructure companies are, for example, Healthy Longevity Clinics, which is nearby Prague, our first installment of the clinic actually worldwide. The second has been opened recently in Florida, so it starts to be a small chain, and there is a plan to enlarge the chain further. And one of the infrastructure companies are also Healthy Longevity Cafe. Again, the proof of a concept facility of Healthy Longevity Cafe started in Prague, but the plan is the same as with the clinics to make it into a chain which would be eventually spanning the world and which would be serving the consumers and the people interested in their self-respecting longevity anywhere in the world. So that's our touching of the hospitality space. We are no experts in hospitality, but some of the inventions we are investing in are necessarily somehow getting into the physical proximity of the consumer.
Yes, definitely. And when you say like you're not especially hospitality specialist, but I see so many convergences between longevity and hospitality. There is one wellness specialist from Canada called Adam Mogonlowski. I always get his name wrong, so sorry, Adam. And he studied a lot about how longevity and hospitality can play such a great place together on being. Hospitals a place to treat sick people, and hospitality a place to be healthy, and keeping that balance around. So if I want to be healthy, I can always go to a place that provides hospitality. And I see that there are so many opportunities for these both ecosystems to actually get together and work together. When we speak about longevity, and you were talking about personalized data, and we can manage a lot of AI systems getting involved. So how does AI is involved with the longevity ecosystem?
Yep, in many ways. One is that if there is a technology which is getting to serve the individual at the end, it may be of the form of conversation agent or of recommendation system or a similar thing, just that you can quickly or quicker get processed your demands and your needs than if a human would need to be 100% of the time on the other side. So that's one of the AI aspects. But then there is also invisible aspect, which is though totally, breaking through the barriers of science very recently. Data science is nowadays pretty strong tool in devising new medicine, new original formulas for treating diseases which were incurable in recent past. But now, thanks to graph data science technology, for example, some of the companies can solely in silico, in computer, devise new drug candidates, which then can be tested in vitro and in vivo, and ultimately to get on the market. And the drugs and the things how to cure humans which are being invented these days are absolutely amazing. The human couldn't have invented that without the computerized system. So that's for me stunning aspect of these days biology. Actually.
Yes, I was watching the news the other day about AI trying to decode the way that we think and visualize our imagination, and that now AI is able to map that in the brain, and maybe we'll be able to start visualizing what we are thinking. And I believe that this will also influence a lot on the cure of diseases like Alzheimer or others, right?
Possibly. There is, of course, also the dangerous part of AI, reading to your mind. No one probably would voluntarily be willing that an engine somewhere would read our minds. But imagine that if you would get into a situation when your speech would be somehow limited, or your listening would be limited, or any of your senses would get seriously harmed, then technology like this could bring the people back into life, actually. So, as always, there is a use case which is absolutely human and stunning and very positive, and always we can imagine also the dangerous side of things. But I am betting on the positive side of things, on the bright side always.
Yeah, on the bright side, that's a good thing. Let's keep positive always. And where could our audience learn a little bit more about the Health and Longevity Tech Fund?
Yeah. So very good crossroads for learning about the longevity ecosystem and what various companies are developing and what is possible these days is, for example, the website of the Longevity Tech Fund. The website is simple to find. It's really longevitytech.fund. That's the website. So the name is the same as the URL address. And there you will see some of the most recent inventions in the longevity space. If people would be interested in learning about longevity as about scientific domain or as about the humans, activity space, then we are also having a learning path on longevity straight on LearnerOn, which is publicly available. So again, when you go to the LearnerOn.net website and you find our search engine, which is open to public, you can find the longevity learning path, and that's even open to beginners. There is nothing scientific, at least at the beginning of the learning path, so you can learn a lot from it as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'll put even the links for our audience. And now, just this is a discussion that we ended up last time talking, and it's because where I think that our passion got really crossed on the learning and development part of it. Because as we speak about AI and a lot of people are concerned about it, we started to talk about learning as being humans, right? Like for me, learning is just the essence of being a human. And if we cannot learn, we are not humans anymore. We're probably starting to become a different species. And do you think that moving forward to the future as autonomous agents started to help us a little bit more with questions or with our doubts? Would we turn more into learning ourselves and developing ourselves?
Well, I believe so, because at the end, the autonomous agents, which you mentioned, just a short explanation what they are, these are the almost autonomous machines which are having sort of a small brain, represented typically like large language model of the ChatGPT kind, which we all are reading every day these days, equipped with some tools like reading files, writing in files, which is allowing them to do something useful for humans. So this is roughly the definition of autonomous agents. And similarly to all of the information developments and information revolutions of the past, like printing presses or internet or mobile phone, it doesn't represent any big danger to humanity as I see it, but simply a tool which is speeding the movement of information from those who have it to those who need it. And therefore it aids human learning substantially again. And I think that we all will have to digest the recent developments in data science and in so-called AI, just that we are getting less afraid of it and more being users of it. But aiding human learning, that will be one of the primary use cases of all of the recent large language models and autonomous agents developments. So I'm using my autonomous agents every day. They are primitive ones, but helping me a lot. I'm sure that you, Mauricio, as well. And I think that even learning about them and what they can do, also what they can't do, will be significant aid to humanity, because then we would be using the technology to its better ends than to the worse ends if we learn enough about it. So I think that the prospects of human learning being aided by data science are really better and better every day. Example, I am an average coder at best, to be honest, even if I'm data scientist, but with the aid of the autonomous agents, which can help me with coding, I can now code as one of the greatest coders of our time, but not better, because even the AI cannot learn more than what the best teachers know. It can't get better than the best humans, but it raises my level of coding significantly. So this can happen with everyone, that our normally average level in some skill can get higher thanks to the aid of the technology. So that would be great. But what the technology can't do at the moment, and I wonder whether it will be able to do it ever, is get to the above human performance. In games, as we have seen in game of Go or in game of chess, yes, in playing game against each other, the machines can get better than average humans. But in terms of the human knowledge, human skills, very difficult for AI to exceed the human level at all. Again, an example in the coding, the engine can help me coding, but it can't invent a new coding language. A human had to invent the coding language, and then the AI tool could have learned how to code. So still there are big domains and the truly creative and truly intellectual domains which are totally closed to data, totally close to AI, and which are solely in the possession of humans. So my hopes for the humanity are the best, and I think that every tool can be used or misused. So my belief is that we can use the current technology and avoid the misusing of them.
That was a very positive outcome, a very positive view, and thank you very much for sharing all this with us. And Vladislav, if our audience wants to talk to you, learn more about you, learn about LearnerOn, besides the website, how can connect with you?
Well, the best way to connect me is via email or via LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile is open to everyone to look at and get in touch via direct message. If someone wanted to send me an email, my LearnerOn email address is vladislav.severa@learneron.net. Again, very simple to reach me out.
Thank you, Vladislav. It was a pleasure have you in the show, a pleasure to talk to you. I hope that our audience understands that there's so much positive to come if we take this as a tool, not a substitute. The human power will always be our human brain, and we can together work better. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely understand it, Mauricio. Thank you again for inviting me, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Schulering. Bye.